So may our hotel, peace and blessings. I hope everything is going well for everyone. Me, myself, I'm doing alright, I'm cool. Like never before. I was reading this book. This is the Noble Drew Ali book. The Exhuman of a Nation is the name of it. You know, I read a lot of stuff. I do. Because I don't have nothing else to do but read, which to me is some important thing. It's like, that's one of the most well spent efforts, you know, toward self-attainment, self-preservation, and self-push. It's always going to be knowledge. That's what we are here for, to ingest knowledge through experiences. So you can read about experiences that you haven't had, that other people have had, that they write about in books. That's what the advantage is of books. They can help you live a circumstance of someone else's experiences that you could put in your archive of experiences. Though it was not yours, you have information about it, and that's what information is. Just a bunch of experiences that people tell the world about. As a matter of fact, that's what allegoric religious circumstances of the Bible is. Someone else's description of an experience they had with their God. That's what it is. And once the person tells their description of their experience that they've had with their God self, even if they give credit for that to something outside of them, what I mean is, if you see the light ships as something separate from you, it's because you haven't got it right here. You see, you're supposed to see the light ships as the emanation of you, as well as you see the evildoers of the earth as being evil emanations of yourself. That's how you got to look at life to be able to deal with it on a balanced perspective. And that's the only way you're going to be able to fix the problem, is that you see the true dynamics of the problem. So what I'm saying is that all books have good things in them and bad things in them. That's why I went on around that. So I can just say that, just say what I just said. So on that, though I give a lot of credit to this book because I get good stuff out of it, I find a lot of things in this book that I find opposition to. You know, like for instance, if I had to belong to a religious sector, and it would have to be Muslims, the reason for me saying that is because the fact that all those people that call themselves Muslims here in America, the Nation of Islam being the one that you see under the description as a nation, a lot of the stuff that might be in the philosophical teachings and propaganda and past issues of demonstrations of a group of people called Muslims could make a person have justified reasons. I gotta do something, keep talking though, to not fully want to accept the title of being a membership, but not because of reasons that make you find fault. You know, I'm not saying that. I looked at a video, my lips were dry. I said, damn, that's why there's drought in America. Your lips probably sucking up all the damn moisture. All those states is suffering because your elders can't find some lotion. So I went and found some. All right? Now look, here's the deal. When you find things that can help you, and you get attached to them, everything that you get opportunity to help you, you get an opportunity to hurt you. Just like everything you love doesn't have to return love to you. They can turn around and hate your ass, you know. So you got to do things unconditional, right? Meaning that you don't look anything for return. That stops you from being disappointed in life a lot, because the experiences that we have, the ones that hurt from the most comes from we expected something and that didn't happen. So the disappointment part of that leaves an impression in our hearts that are more powerful than any impression of elation could ever be. All right? So let me get that out the way. So we back to what I want you to understand, being that this is a very powerful, good book. It gives me a lot of good information. But I found this in here, like a lot of other stuff I found in here, that just don't really ride easy with me, and I want to share it with you. And by the way, I want to also say that I don't really care if people don't like the idea that I talk about the president, big ears, because he should be able to hear what I'm saying, so you know I'm not afraid with them big ears, because they big. We all know when he became president, I bet he looked in the mirror one day and said, I bet you somebody out there gonna say something about my ears. I'm gonna be ready for it. I ain't even gonna get mad. I ain't gonna trip. Because people probably been saying shit about his ears ever since he was Obama with those ears. That's all to it. Like me, people's little short, motherfucking, all the time I get it, I have to deal with that. Little peanut head, smack me upside my head, grew up, I got issues because I haven't forgot all that shit. So I think when I want to say the president got some big ass ears and that he's committing genocide and that we all should be wary, if it's substantiating proof to all that, then he's going to hear my ass say something because I'm going to say it and he got the right equipment to hear that shit. Simple. Like I'm going to say something about this book right here, right now. Feel me? All right. This says the serpent uses the minds of men. All right, this says right here, the only reason the serpent came to the woman rather than Adam was because she was created with a polarized sensitivity level much keener than her man prototype. All duplicates, replicas, and counterparts and copies are of a weaker degree than their originals. Hence, original man was made in the image and likeness of God, but in a form weaker than God. The woman was made from this already weakened state. How could she be the strength of God when strength does not come from weak source? This is why Drew Ali instructed the Moorish men, when it comes to women, they are to be not severe to her weakness, but remember thine own imperfection. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what I have a problem with on that. First of all, the imperfection of a man that they was instructed to remember, you're not perfect yourself. First of all, remember, to be perfect, you have to have the need to be perfect. And the need to be perfect would come from an existence around failure. The only way you can have a need to be perfect is that you can see what non-perfect is. And you don't want to be non-perfect. All those both, the circumstances are both, they're in a state of duality. But it's the same thing if you know the real deal. They are all both possible only through existence. Existence comes from feminine sources. You're not going to get away with that. I done proved that to you. There is no manifestations that can manifest, all right, without the female vagina. Everything comes from the whole and returns to the whole. From her we comes and to her we return. That is a universal principle. So when you get information that says the only reason the serpent came to the woman rather than Adam was because she was created with a polarized sensitivity level much keener than her man prototype. That means that she was the one that would be probably more easily misled. Okay, all duplicates. Now listen what they're saying. They're calling the female a reproduction now. Now listen what it says. It says all duplicates, replicas, counterparts, and copies are of a weaker degree than their originals. Hence, original man, the original man. See what he gave to man right away? Original. The original man was made in the image and the likeness of God. That's what it says. But, it says, there's a quick rebuttal. And they formed weaker than God. Now you see what they did? They separated man from having the power to be a full God. But you can be a God, but you can be a weak God, weaker than the true God, okay? Do you see what they did? They stepped man down and took away his greatness of what he can achieve by telling you right there that he'll be a weak God. That's what they said. They said, listen, I'll read it back again if you don't believe me. It says, all duplicates, replicas, counterparts, and copies are of a weaker degree than their originals. Hence, original man was made in the image and likeness of God, but in a form weaker than God. So this is why people walk around earth and can't understand their true identity and the realm of where their true power exists, because when you start hearing stuff like this. Now wait, let me finish it for you. It said a woman was made from this already weakened state. So they saying to you, since man was already weak and less than God, and the woman comes from him, which we know is a lie. Because when we look around and see the dynamics of birth and regeneration on this earth, we see the woman pushing the man out. So all this bullshit lie that is European rhetoric about a man having a baby or the man falling asleep and God taking a rib from the man and fashioning woman. Because listen what they're saying. They're saying that God was a dumbass. For some reason, he didn't know. Again, he was in a hurry, tired, because on the seventh day he rested. See this foolishness. Gods don't take rest. You don't get a day off from being God. Have you ever seen the sun not rise because it was Sunday or Saturday? You know, stupid shit got us all twisted, right? So watch this. First of all, you're not going to have a woman on this earth that's going to be the prototype of a man in the non-original. That doesn't make sense. If there's two together, she's going to have to be the original and the man came from her, because that's the dynamics of regeneration on our earth. We see that. We see that the tree drops a seed into the ground and the ground regenerates the seed. But you don't see the seed being a pod that's got an existence inside of it too by itself, because it can be a food source to something that'll have a life while it's generating life inside of whatever ate it. It's the same as it being inside of the infestation of a woman's egg, if you think about it, because this moving mammal that ate it, consumed it, encapsulated it in the stomach, and it gave growth of energy, a spiritual realm, but yet growth, regeneration of life existence is what goes on until you start eating processed food. Now you're eating decay. That's the only thing about our earth that's decaying it is bad information, bad food. We're going to get to around all that. So we can understand the dynamics of this trick paradigm world that we are in, that's a holographic existence. And it's doing this by giving you bad information about the man being greater than the woman. And I'm going to slice that every place I see it, because this is the most damaging thing that can happen on our planet. This is homosexuality, where the man try to perpetuate himself in a seat higher than the woman that is his mother and ends up becoming his wife. And it's true regeneration of himself coming from his daughter. True regeneration of a man coming from his daughter. Let me explain to you why. Because your wife can have a child for you. But then, here's the deal. Let's say that you no longer exist, but your daughter exists. Your daughter being younger, she can come up and pump out a whole lot of young men that's going to come up and be future demonstrations of you, because she was your daughter. And so the only thing she needs is the spiritual implement from another male aspect. But the true identity of her male spirituality will always go back to her existence of first. And that's going to always be an African male. And that's how we keep our seed alive on this earth, is through our women. The problem is our women can have our seeds contaminated by whiteness. And that whiteness can grow up to hate blackness. And this is what we got on the earth now. So we all know the true regenerating power of a birthright of birth blood is in the female.